No weapon that forms against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned. I am the owner of 5 townhouses. I have no partnerships, none at all, with First Caribbean, RBC, Scotiabank, Family Guardian. My building was fraudulently taken away from me. I don't have a problem with conveyances, but I have a problem with my signature being on conveyances that I didn't sign. As you could see clearly, this is a First Caribbean insurance, not Scotiabank, First Caribbean. In 2013 or 14, I'm not very sure of the date, I would have went into First Caribbean and met with Sean Blyden, and he told me basically that I could not go after the bank, but I can sue each one of these employees. My problem is they were employed by the bank. I've been wrong, but God will make it right. This is my second video. The reason that I'm bringing this forth is to bring light of the situation, because it's just dormant. Nobody's doing anything about it because it doesn't affect them. In 2018, after I win the court case for this property, I took the individual, because these are 5 townhouses, 4 persons from the bank claimed that they purchased townhouses, and I took them to court because I've never received no money. They never paid nothing, they just was living. So I took them to court in 2018. My attorney was Marion Russell, and to my surprise, these individuals had conveyances. I don't have a problem with conveyances, but I have a problem with my signature being on conveyances that I didn't sign. Mrs. Cooper at the outset said these persons was purchasing a property. These persons wanted to purchase units, and they all came on the property one after the other, and just living. In 2010, I went to Ms. Cooper and I said, Ms. Cooper, I don't think it's fair that me and Michael paying to clean this yard, do everything in the yard, and these persons are just living there. So she said, Mrs. Major, what is going on is they're waiting on the bank to give them their interest. Because they are bank employees, they wouldn't pay the amount of interest that every other person would pay. So that was in 2010, but she said, I think they should at least give you all something for living there until the interest, because it has to go to the head office for these First Caribbean and RBC in Canada and Trinidad, and when it comes back, then, they would start, the homeowners association would kick in and they would start paying. But I said, I don't think that's fair, because we have been paying for years for this yard and they're just sitting there. So I said, what if they don't be approved? So she said, the worst scenario, they'll just pay rent. Saying that we already agreed to sell them the units. She said, I'm sure they're going to get it, because when it's approved, they will just back pay or whatever. So I haven't heard from Ms. Cooper. In 2011, Ms. Cooper reached out to me and told me she wanted me to sign some conveyances. And my problem with signing those conveyances is that you told me you'd call me when these people got their approval, and you never called. So I told her I need her to send the conveyance to Stephanie Wells, because I'm not signing anything unless Mrs. Wells, my attorney at the time, told me it's okay to sign and have my check. So she sent the papers to Mrs. Wells. So Mrs. Cooper called me and said, Mrs. Wells has the paper, what's going on? You didn't sign. I said, Miss Wells never called me. So when I went into Mrs. Wells said, yes, they just sent some documents for you to sign. So I said, Mrs. Wells, how could I sign? She said, these documents, they never give me no money. What's going on? So she said, by law, I'm required to give you these documents. But by law, I cannot make you sign them. Who signs a document if they don't get the funds? That don't make sense. And she said, although they are bank employees, if a sales was going through, it shouldn't take this long. So anyway, when I went to another attorney, they told me that is not the way it works and whatever the case may be. In 2013, I think it was, I got Glendon Roll. And Glendon Roll would have written each one of them, asking them to pay the maintenance of the caretaking of the yard. And so no one paid. He sent them letters. Michael Sanders then wrote a letter claiming that they're not paying because they don't have documents and whatever the case may be. This is 2013. In 2015, I would have won my case, getting back my property from Scotiabank. The Scotiabank was, no, I got my paperbacks in 2018. I won the case in 2015, but they said they're holding on to the property papers because I took a year after the case supposed to have won, and they added $80,000 interest. And so I had to pay that off until I got the papers. I couldn't pay it. We went back to court. Judge Fraser ordered them to get 6.7% of that, and it was still $48,000 outstanding. That's when I would have written the president in Canada to help me find this insurance. And my problem with all of this is, why am I the only person had to fight and whatever for this property? If these people claim to purchase outright and rightfully, if you purchase a property from the bank, number one, you should have payments. Look here, I'm making this payment, I'm doing this, that. No payments, no nothing. You own, you have conveyance, you have deed of release. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Well, in 2018, I took them to court. They bring conveyance, deed of release. And so it was so shocking. My attorney at that time told me to go to Forensic Crimes and state that my signature had been lifted. I went to Forensic Crimes, Mr. Taylor and Mr. Roll. Well, Mr. Roll was the gentleman that was dealing with this case. He said that they could not take on the case unless I go to the United States and prove that my signature was lifted. I went to the United States, paid this money. Every time I'm paying off money, thousands of dollars, to state that my signature was lifted. My signature was lifted. Michael's signature was lifted. The Register General's signature was lifted. I came back here, went to Forensic Crimes, that told me I have the fraudulent documents, but they have the good ones. From 2011 to now, I haven't gotten the good documents yet. And I don't know how it could be good if I'm the owner of the property and I never signed. So, make it make sense, my manager used to tell us. So right now, I'm just bringing the Bahamian people. I want you to be aware. I don't want no family go through what I had to go through again in this country, because it's wrong at every level. If I had done the millions of times that my signature was lifted and placed on documents, I would have been in jail. But these individuals could lift signature after signature after signature and nothing is done. All I want, because I've already been through Paul Roll, all the different commissioner of police, and now I would like to see what Clayton Fernando is going to do about this case, because there's a crime at every level. No weapon that forms against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned. I am the owner of 5 townhouses. I have no partnerships, none at all, with First Caribbean, RBC, Scotiabank, Family Guardian. My building was fraudulently taken away from me. I don't have a problem with conveyances, but I have a problem with my signature being on conveyances that I didn't sign. As you could see clearly, this is a First Caribbean insurance, not Scotiabank, First Caribbean. In 2013 or 14, I'm not very sure of the date, I would have went into First Caribbean and met with Sean Blyden, and he told me basically that I could not go after the bank, but I can sue each one of these employees. My problem is they were employed by the bank. I've been wrong, but God will make it right. I am the owner of 5 townhouses. I have no partnerships, none at all, with First Caribbean, RBC, Scotiabank, Family Guardian. My building was fraudulently taken away from me, and this is over 15 years now. All I want is justice. God's willing, I will not give up until I get it. In 2013 or 14, I'm not very sure of the date, I would have went into First Caribbean and met with Sean Blyden, and he told me basically that I could not go after the bank, but I can sue each one of these employees. My problem is they were employed by the bank. This mortgage was taken out by the bank, and so the bank should have cleared up this matter and not me having to fight for this. And then I went back there. When I went back there, because I was told that the bank was responsible, I met Marvin Major, which told me that he's going to deal with the matter. As a matter of fact, he called me in the United States and told me he knew what was going on. He can deal with the matter. I came here. The matter still is not dealt with. This is 2023. It doesn't make sense. They know what's going on. These are their employees. So, I mean, I don't feel like I should be the one to clear up this matter. I don't feel like I should be the one to go to the media. But if this is what I have to do to get justice, this is what I'm going to do. But I will not give up with the help of the good Lord until I get justice. It's so sad. In 2010, we would have taken out the mortgage with Scotiabank. The insurance company was Family Guardian. And this is the mortgage. We borrowed $182,000. We took out a bank. The loan manager was Mr. Martin Burroughs. And they took out our insurance. When Michael saw the paid out slip, he saw that we were paying $360 every month for insurance. So he said, why am I paying this $360? Because Mr. Manberg said every dollar that leaves the bank must be insured. So he said, what if I have my own insurance? So Mr. Manberg said, the insurance must be more than the loan. How much is your insurance? So he said $100,000. He said, no, the insurance must be more the amount of the loan or more than the loan, but it cannot be less because every dollar that leaves the bank must be insured. So after he died, is when I went in and could not find the mortgage for 5 years after I wrote the president. The insurance that we went to court on, I just have to do this. The insurance that we went to court on is this. As you could see clearly, this is a First Caribbean insurance, not Scotiabank, First Caribbean. The insurance that they took out was a Scotiabank insurance. But he denied that because he went and took out his own insurance the same day. As you can see, he wrote on the bottom his insurance agent name. Both of us was insured with this loan. The third, and let me show the payments of this insurance. Every month we pay this insurance. This is a statement of the insurance. Every month we pay this insurance. As you could see, premium protection, zero. Zero. This is the history of this insurance. So if Scotiabank had taken out this insurance, the premium would have been $360. The premium, this is their statement. The premium is zero. This is another statement. The premium here is zero. The escrows are zero. The third insurance, which was his insurance that I got after I wrote the president. This is his insurance. And another thing I want to show on this, the insurance that Scotiabank would have taken out is a decrease in term insurance. Means the insurance decreased as the loan increased. As you can see, the HCP figure is zero. So as the loan increased, the insurance would have decreased. His personal insurance was a premium platinum insurance. As you can see, the value of the insurance never decreases. And this is the insurance that we took out. As you can see here, it's Family Guardian insurance policy. We turn it over to Scotiabank. And these are his payments. I can't show where it come from because I don't want them to destroy the documents. These are his payments. He paid for 11 months. And also, I got this insurance after writing the president in Canada. And this is the paid out figure from Scotiabank. And as you can see, they never take out a premium payment. They took it out, but they weren't supposed to. I've been wrong, but God will make it right. This is what I want from the bank. I want the premium that Ms. Cooper and Ms. Cover would have taken out. I want eviction of each one of my units. I want rent of my entire property for the years that they were here. I want pain and suffering. I want my building to be put back to standard as it was when these ladies entered, and it was a brand new building. Everything in it was brand new. I needed them to put my building back up to standard.